Jeremy Hunt and Rishi Sunak have completed their first budget announcement, and as expected, Socialist Britain is back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the UK's most watched online political news show. We will come to you guys every half an hour throughout the day to give you guys all the updates happened today. We had the budget, one of the many budget announcements that we've had over the last few weeks, a couple of months. The governments keep changing, obviously. It's the same party, different governments, same people, different agenda. It makes no sense. But we are where we are. And now we have, of course, Jeremy Hunt running the show. And essentially, Rishi Sunak is just the face of the government. Now, we had Nigel Farage, many others have already reacted to the budget anyway. But one of the problems we have is that it goes against every aspect of conservatism. Not just conservatism, basic common sense. Even right-leaning, more centrist, social democratic governments don't go this far to go and punish small businesses, medium-sized businesses, people who are at work trying to actually make some money. You know, those who are on benefits, they will see an increase, but the rest of society will struggle. Now, let's go to a few of the main points. There were so many announcements as usual, but first, when it comes to the the energy bill, so this is quite interesting because for households they've extended the energy bill aid beyond April for another year, and so average annual bill will be £3,000 from the current £2,500. So that's gone up in terms of the guarantee. Now, one thing is about the additional cost of living payments next year, £900 for households on means-tested benefits. Now, £300 for pensioners and £150 for individuals on disability benefits. Okay, so far these are the support. Now, when it comes to working age and disability benefits, they've also operated by inflation. So that's going to cost £11 billion. Over 600,000 people on universal credits to be forced to meet with a work coach in a bid to get more of them to get jobs. But the problem is they'll be worse off when they get a job because there's no support, and because of inflation and everything else, they'll be better off not working. So this whole thing, there's no incentive for people to work when you're going to take so much of their money in terms of the tax increases and inflation. Now, increasing social rent to be capped at the maximum of 7%. So that's one thing. But again, when the rest of inflation and taxation is going up, that's kind of irrelevant when you think about it. And of course, national living wage to be raised by 9.7% from April. So, okay, that's that. Pensions. Pension credit is going to increase by 10.1%. So that's about £1,470 for a couple and £960 for a single pensioner. So that's kind of, they want to give that support, but it's never going to be enough. There's absolutely no point in doing this when the rest of the economy is going down. Now, they're reducing the threshold at which a 45p tax rate becomes payable is gone from £150,000 to £125,000. So the top rate of tax, more people are going to be paying that. So some people are going to get excited about this and say, oh, good, the rich are going to pay more. But again, what's going to happen with that money? We don't know exactly. Do you really think their money being in the hands of government and the treasury is going to be safe? Not really sure. We haven't really seen any benefits from it. Now, of course, the income tax personal threshold going to maintain the freeze, high rate threshold, maintain, and also the main national insurance thresholds, as well as the inheritance tax thresholds for a further 2 years. All this is going to be frozen. Now, dividend allowance will be cut from £2,000 to £1,000 next year, and then to £500. So all those small businesses, all those, they're one-man band sole traders, they are going to lose out so much, while the big corporations are going to be absolutely fine. Now, of course, annual exempt amounts for capital gains tax will be cut from £12,300 to £6,000, and then it's going to go lower again. So we get that. But again, when you look at the employer's national insurance contribution threshold, which is frozen, the employment allowance will be retained at its new higher level of £5,000. yes, they talk about the research and development tax release for small businesses, but how many small businesses actually do R&D, really? But there's a windfall tax on major oil and gas producers raised to 35% from 25%, and a 45% energy profits levy rate also to be imposed on electricity generators. So that is going to bring in £14 billion next year. Adult and social care. This is all about the healthcare that we have in this country. It's still a bit of a mess. Now, there's a funding of £1 billion next year and £1.7 billion the year after. But then in reality, they're increasing the NHS budget in each of the next 2 years by an extra £3.3 billion to invest an extra £2.3 billion per year also in the schools. The problem here is that, of course, that money is going to the NHS bosses, and we don't know what they're going to do with that money. There's no accountability, there's no scrutiny, there's no democracy, and you wonder why we give more money to the NHS, and of course inflation keeps going up as well, and nothing actually changes. Now more money is going to Mark Drakeford and Nicola Sturgeon. Scotland's going to get, Scottish government, not Scotland by the way, Scottish government is going to get £1.5 billion extra, £1.2 billion extra for Wales, and of course £650 million extra for Northern Ireland Executive if they get their act together. So everything's about the nanny state. Everything's about managing declines, and that's just the way things are going until the next general election. And we'll see what's going to happen in the next election, because the Labour Party is providing actual socialism. The Tory Party are providing social democracy, which is basically socialism with a bit of market economy. And so the Reform UK, if they get their act together, they could actually have an opportunity. They are saying that if Nigel Farage comes back, for example, they could get up to 25% of the vote. Now, that will be disruptive for the Tories and the Labour Party. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. On my Tousi, and we are the media.